Hi everybody, this is Ellen. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make the happy turkey, or chicken I suppose. I really like how he turned out. I think it was kind of more on the fun side than the realistic side, so I love him. It's awesome. I just want to dance with him all the time. So I'll show you how to make this guy. It's not super hard, just a little bit of prep work with the thigh bones or thigh legs here and the wings. Band wise, there are 275 for the I guess whatever's orange on here is the 275, and then there are 22 white and then 1 to 3 black bands depending on if you use the pony beads for the eyes, and then 2 cheek bands, whatever those will be for you. So we'll get started. Like I said, not too difficult. This is the neon orange from Rainbow Loom, and I'm going to use gold jelly from Rainbow Loom this time. So, usually people ask me, put this little guy over here. We'll start with the eyes and the cheeks. You can do either wrapped bands or beads, whatever you prefer. So you want the bands for whatever color your turkey is going to be. Bead, I use 7mm pony beads, or a band, whatever color you want your eye to be. If you're going to use a wrap band, it's 1 band on the hook, wrap it around 1 time into a figure 8, and then grab both bands and then wrap them around 1 more time, and then pull through 2 bands the color of your turkey. And that would be a wrapped eye band. Then if you're going to do a beaded eye, you're going to want a piece of wire or something you can get into a V shape like this. So you can put 2 bands down into the center, close it up, and thread your bead on there. And then pull it down to the center of your bands and take out your tool. So that would be a beaded eye band. You need 2 of those or 2 of these, whichever one you're using. And then you need to make cheeks, and that will be whatever color you want the cheek to be. They're made just like the eyes. Put on your hook, wrap it around 1 time into the figure 8, grab both bands, wrap them around again, and then pull through 2 bands the color of your turkey. Like so. So you need 2 cheek bands. Then we need to make his little legs and the arms, which look like this when we're done. And how we make those, they're on the loom. I'm working on the wrong end here. We'll start with the leg first, because it's a little bit easier actually. We're going to start, works like this on the loom, so we'll start with the top portion. You're going to take 2 bands, and starting from a center pin, you're going to go out to the 6 pins around with 2 bands. So center out to the 6 pins around it. 2 bands to start. Like that. Then you'll want 2 bands. We're going to put a cap band here. I'm going to wrap it around 3 times. 2, 3. Then we'll take our hook, go in through the cap band, grab the top 2 bands, whatever those are, pull them up through and back towards themselves. And then do that for the other bands inside the cap band. Like that. Push your bands down. Then we're going to do a row around, and this one will be 2 bands all the way around. like that. Then we're going to go around and we're going to flip over the bottom 4 bands on all the pins. Just grab them and pull them over the top of the pin. Like so. Push those down. Then we're going to do a kind of alternating row. Start with a single right here, and then 2 bands, so double right here, and then single, and double, single, and double. And again, we're going to flip over the bottom 4 all the way around. Push your bands down. And this time we're going to do a row all the way around, just single banded. Like that. Now you should be flipping the bottom 3 bands on all the pins around. And push your bands down. I'm going to do another row of just single bands. Like that. Now we'll flip the bottom 2 all the way around. Then you want to push your bands down again. And this time you're going to want to take your hook and go in and grab your cap band and pull it up. Just make sure you don't pull it off the loom yet. Just so it pokes up. Make sure your bands are pushed down. And then you can use the rainbow loom hook or a latch hook. I'm going to use a latch hook just because I find it a little easier and there's more room to show you what I'm doing. We're going to start by, we're going to make the legs or the little bone parts of our chicken thighs. We're going to take 2 bands, put them on your hook, wrap them around one time into the figure 8, grab them both, or all 4 of them, and wrap them around again. And take 1 band, end of your hook, double it, pull it through what's on your hook, and then put it back onto the hook. And then kind of push that down so it's out of your way. Now we're going to pick up our turkey leg here. There aren't that many bands and it's not that many pins, so you should be fine with a rainbow loom hook as well. I know I did it the first time, but so I'm just going to start anywhere, stick my hook down and through all the way around. And when you get towards the end, just kind of keep your thumbs on those so they don't pop up. So push that down. And you can kind of stretch it out, pull it down a little bit. Like that. So here's what you have on your hook now. Now we'll take 2 bands on the end of the hook, double them, and you're going to pull them just through the thigh part here. Then put it back on your hook, slide it down, and then again, 2 bands, end of your hook, double them, pull them through just that first part, back onto the hook, slide it down. Now we're going to create this other knob on the bone. So again, 2 bands on the hook, wrap them around once, grab them and wrap them around again, then take 1 band, double it, pull it through just this first part, back on the hook. So now you have this on your hook. And I'm just going to take a single band, you can do double if you're worried about it breaking, and pull it through everything on my hook. Then back both ends on my hook, and then I'll make a slip knot, and I'll pull tight. Kind of centering where I pull, so the knot is kind of right at the top. Like so. And then you'll need to hide your tail here. So you go up through the side of the leg bone here. Grab the tail, pull it down through, and you'll have to do it again. That. And then I'll just come up through the bottom here somewhere, kind of right next to the bone, and pull it down inside. Like that. So now I have another turkey leg bone. I will point out that we're going to put these on the turkey guy in a specific way. So I'll kind of show you. This is one side of the turkey leg with kind of all these bands wrapped around, because that's kind of like where we went through with the hook. And on the other side, there are only a few kind of right in the middle. So just kind of take a look at your bones to kind of get that idea now, so when we get to that point, it'll make a little bit more sense as well. So now I have 2 little turkey drumsticks. Now we need to make one of his little arms, but obviously you need 2, so you'll need to pause and remake another one of these. Sorry, kind of spaced that I only showed you how to make one of them. And then I'm going to now show you how to make one of the little arm wings, and then you'll have to make 2 of those as well. So these are on the hook. Latch hook would be much easier. I'll do it on the rainbow loom hook this time. It's 1 band first on the hook, doubled. Grab both bands, double them again. Take another band, double it, then pull it through what's on your hook, back on. Take another one, do the exact same thing on the hook, double it, pull it through what's on, back on. One more time, single band, double it, pull it through. It's going to get tougher as we go along because we add more bands. So now we're going to take 2 bands on the hook, double it, pull them through what's on your hook, and back on. I'm going to do that again. 2 bands, double them, pull them through what's on your hook, back on. One more time with the double bands. So 2 bands, double it, pull them through. And if you notice, I always turn my hook down towards my wing here, because that helps, and as I pull, it leaves room for the hook to slide through. So that really helps. And put it back on the hook. Now here's where it gets super tight, because we're going to actually do a 3 bands now. If you have a lot of trouble getting 3 bands doubled and pulled through here, just skip it and maybe use like 4 bands and just pull them straight through, because we just want to have a little bulk up here at the shoulder. So, but I know that as I'm doing it, jelly is a little harder than the neon orange was, but it gets a little hard to pull through the 3 bands doubled. So, but on the hook with 3 bands, double them, and I'm going to pull them through and back on my hook. And I'm always kind of centering it a little bit. And we'll do this one more time with the 3 bands. The 3 bands, doubled, then pulled through, back on the hook. Then we're just going to kind of get this pre-ready to go onto the turkey. So we're going to take 2 regular bands, and you're going to pull them through just the first half, or the first side of our wing here. So 2 bands through the first half, and as you get it kind of towards the middle, it should stay there just fine. So you can take your hook out of that half. And then take 2 more bands and pull them through the other half. So those will be ready to go onto the loom. And then we can reposition the arms later so they have a little bend to them, or however you want to do that. It's just by taking your hook, sliding it in inside one of the teardrop areas, and just pulling the bands the direction you want them to go. So I have a nice little bend in my arm. So you'll need to make 2 of those. So eyes, drummies, and wings. And then we can get started with the rest of this. So 1 loom, of course. And we do increase to about the 12 pins. So you're going to want to start kind of up towards the middle area somewhere. We start on only 6 to begin with, so, and then we expand to the 12. So what we're going to do is kind of right here in the middle somewhere, so you have enough room to expand. We're just going to make a starburst like we did before with the top of the drummies. So 2 bands, and just come out from the center pin to the 6 pins around. Sorry for the long intro, by the way, but it goes pretty quick, I think, I hope, after making the parts. So like that. Then a cap band with 2 bands wrapped around 3 times. All of them. Like that. Then we'll go in through the cap band and we'll loom out these 6 bands around, or 6 double bands around. So in through the cap band, grab the top 2 bands, pull them back towards themselves, and do that for all the bands around. Like that. Push your bands down. And we're going to do a row around with 2 bands all the way. that. Then flip over the bottom 4. And you push these down. Then we're going to do that again. 2 bands all the way around. Like that. And again, flip the bottom 4. Push your bands down. So now we're going to increase, and we're going to increase a lot all at once. So just kind of, I'll try and explain the best that I can here. So first what we're going to do is we're going to expand these 4 corners right here, and then we're just going to move these 2 pins out, or the bands that are out. So first, I'm just going to take all the bands that are on this pin. I'm going to move them up to this pin up here. Then the top 2 bands, which belong to this pin down here, are just going to come down and go onto this pin. And we'll work our way over. These bands that are on this pin are just going to come up right here, and we'll leave those alone for now. Then right here, it's a little easier, I think, if I remember right. It's just the top 2 bands are going to come up. Now this is all providing that you laid your bands on the same directions that I did, which was counterclockwise. You just need to make sure that, like this band that I just moved up, it comes around from this pin to this pin. This band right here goes from this pin to this pin. So they're always, none of them are crossed. So I'm going to do the same thing down on this end. So right here, I'm going to grab the top 2 bands, and they're going to come down to this pin right here. So this band comes around and goes to this pin, and then this band comes around and goes to here. These bands on this pin, we're just going to stretch them down. And then right here, we're going to grab all the bands, and we're going to pull them down to this pin right here. Then the top 2 bands are going to come back to the pin that we just took them off. So we just expanded quite a bit. So what was the 6 is now out to the 10 now, yeah. So just kind of, hopefully if you need to rewind and watch that again, just go right ahead, and otherwise if you're familiar, just we need these 2 corners, or all 4 of these corners expanded, and then we just moved out the middles back to the pin. So now we're going to do a row around, and it'll be 2 bands all the way around. Like that. Then you're going to flip over the bands underneath. All of them except for the 2 end ones will have just 2 bands to go over. On the end here it'll be the 4. Pull this up a little bit. Alright, so push your bands down. So now we're going to increase the 2 pins we didn't before that we just moved out. So this one up here at the top, I'm going to grab the top 2 bands and just pull them back. So now we have kind of a little angle here. And then down here, I'm going to grab the top 2 bands. I'm going to pull them over here for a second, but then I'm actually going to grab the bottom bands, pull them up to the front, and move these ones over here back into that center. So this band comes and connects to this pin. These bands come around and connect to this pin. There's no crossing. Alright, so now we're going to start adding the wings. And for these, they're pretty tight in there if you have the double bands or the doubled triple bands. So just kind of, you can try doing it how I'm doing it. Otherwise, we just need these 2 bands will be right here, and then these other bands, they'll loop over and they'll be on this side. This is the front of our turkey, so if you already have it, your arm bent, or you think it looks better a certain way, then have it pointed towards the front of the face, or this is where the face is, so you know. So what I'm going to do is take my hook, go through what will be the right side, and then through the left side. Then I'm going to pull these tight around my hook. And now what's on my hook is going to go on this middle pin right here. And if I need to, I can use these pins on the sides so that while I'm pulling, I don't pull too tight and pull them out of my wing. And I'll just put them right onto this pin. And these ones on this pin will come up here, and these ones over here on this pin will come over here. So it looks like that now. These bands go through, and then the other one's over here. We've done that lots of times before in some of the other Happy Foods, so. Now we'll do our 2 bands up to the end right here, and then we'll do our other wing up here. So 2 bands. Up to the end. Then we need to do our other wing over here, so I'm going to turn my loom around. And the same thing, you can do the, how I showed you before, or just kind of take one side, grab your bands, make sure you get a good grip and have a good center so you can just get them stretched right on there. And then you have to kind of remember that you want to turn, like if I just pull this straight this way and go, okay, I'm going to put it on, your wing will be crooked, because this inside, this side is technically on the inside of the wing, so we have to make sure that this gets on to this pin here and not over here. So kind of turn your wing sideways and you'll kind of see a little bit better what I mean, hopefully. So that goes there, and then the ones that are hanging down, pointed down towards the bottom, those are going to come off to this pin over here. So like that. And then it'll be 2 bands back to the beginning there. Let's turn my loom back around so it's the same. But like I said, we've added stuff like that before. It's just that it's tight because of the triple banding there, so that's what you should have now. We have our wings on with the double banding on the side. Then we'll go ahead and we'll flip over the bands. Some of them, where we expanded our top right here on these 2 pins and these 2 pins, we'll just have the 2 bands. All the other ones should have 4. So flip over the 2 and then the 4 for the other ones. And I'll show you when we get to down by the wings what those look like. So at the wings, we just want to flip over, stretch this out a little bit. You kind of have this little teardrop shape for each one of the bands from the side. You're going to go in through this little spot right here. Maybe I'll come down a little bit more. You want to go in through this spot right here, and there's only 1 band or 2 bands to pull through and over the top of the pin. And then once you've done that, the wing can flip up and over. And right here, it'll be 2 bands, and then 4 up through the side. Suppose I can back up a little bit too. Don't want to be that close. Oops, wrong way. There we go. So again, the same thing on this end. It's a little harder because the pin's facing the wrong way, but pull this back. Find that spot and go in and grab the 2 bands and pull them up and over. And try not to knock off your other stuff. That would be good too. Like that. And then the wing can come over the top. So now he's kind of like, help me. So push all your bands down. You just want to make sure that these were attached correctly too. Alright, so now we're going to do a row around. 2 bands, just all the way around. It's funny because I made the neon orange first, and then I'm like, oh, I'm going to use the gold jelly, that'd be so pretty, and I'd used it for something else. I was worried I wouldn't have enough out of the bag that I had, and it's all the way around with 2. Then you go and you flip the bottom 4 all the way around. But then I realized that in the last few days I had spent some time sorting bands, and there was a metallic pack that were sold only at Michael's, and the gold jelly is exactly the same as the gold color and the gold texture of those bands. So I'm like, I have lots of those because that was a good sale. And of course, whenever they show up at Michael's, it's like you have to grab them because then they never restock anything. At least not at my Michael's. But I'm like, oh, I don't have to worry about that now. Because sometimes I've made tutorials or I've made things and I'm like, I'll make them in a weird color. And I'll be like, but now I need to wait and order bands so that I can actually do them in a tutorial. So that kind of stinks sometimes. Make sure that you aren't forgetting to flip over the bands on the middle pins too. It's kind of in a different spot than what we normally do. Alright, so now we're going to do our eye row. So you want your eyes. I'm going to start by starting back here, laying my 2 bands to here, and then the eyes are going to go right here in the front. And then the rest will be the 2 bands. So, 2 bands. To there. And our eyes will go right here. And then 2 bands all the way around the rest. Like that. Then flip over the bottom 4 all the way around. And my Michael's had a sign up for like 2 weeks. It's like, new product coming on the Rainbow Loom shelves, and it's like, sweet, they'll finally restock some of those neon bands or some of the glitter or metallic ones. And I went there the other day. They restocked the exact same colors they had before that nobody was buying. So I just want to go find the manager and be like, what are you doing? Let me order for you. I'll do so much better. Alright, so push your bands down. It looks like that now. Next is our cheek row. So we'll do the same exact thing, and the cheeks will go right where the eyes are. So 2 bands. I'm just starting back here. Then our cheeks. I think I annoyed the Michaels people a couple days because I know their truck comes in on Wednesdays. It's sad that I know that, but I know that. And I'd call them like Thursday because I live across town from my Michaels, so I don't want to pack up all the children's to go run over there and be like, they don't have anything I want. So I just make them go look to see if they have the bands I want or if they got anything new, and I think it's like they probably know and wait for my phone call. Alright, so all the way around, then again we're going to flip the bottom 4. It probably doesn't help that I think I get the same lady every time, so she's probably like, oh, it's you again. But it's a lot of work to put the kids in the car and... What's in there, kitty? Do you want some turkey? So like that. Push your bands down. Now you want your mouth band, whatever color you want that to be. You're just going to put on your hook and wrap it around. Weirdly fuzzy. Put it on your hook and then wrap it around one time into the figure 8. And in between the cheeks here, you'll grab the bands that are there, pull them off the hook or off the pin, leave them on your hook, slide your mouth band down, and then put the bands that are on your hook back onto the same pin. Like so. So now we're going to do reducing, and kind of a lot of it. So we're going to reduce the 2 middle pins right here, and then the pin that's by the mouth, and then kind of what would be the back side, so it's kind of kitty corner right here. So the middle pins on the sides we're going to reduce. So starting up here on this middle pin, I'm going to grab the top 2 bands, and they're coming from this pin over here, so they're going to come up to the front. And the other 2 bands are going to go to the back. Like that. Then we'll come down and do this end. Grab the top 2 bands. They're coming from the right, so they're going to come to the back, or to the left. And the other 2 bands will go to the front. And go ahead and push those down. Now we'll start here with the mouth front first. Grab the top 2 bands. It's hard because we kind of jiggle them all around when we put the mouth on, or at least I did. Top 2 bands, and you want to really make sure that they are the top 2 bands. It's a little harder because the mouth is in the way to see. Pull them up, and you'll see if you have a good divide, if you really look in there. These 2 bands I can definitely see are coming from this top pin, so they're going to come down to the bottom pin. And the other 2 bands will go up towards the top. And then on the back side here, so we have the end, the next ones, and then here's the middle pin. We're going to reduce the middle one. So top 2 bands, they're coming from the bottom. It's going to come up here to the top. And the other 2 will come down towards the bottom. Alright, so now we're going to do a row around, but we're going to start adding our little legs. So first we're going to pull some band through our legs. And we actually want, remember I showed you the side that has a bunch of bands, and then there's a side that has a few bands. On the side that has the bunch of bands, you're going to come up to what is essentially, here's the first row, and right below that there's a place to put your hook that we want to put our hook through. So here's that first little bump straight up from the bottom, and they have the bands that kind of come around in the U shape. You want to put your hook right behind those. Then you'll take 2 bands and pull them through. And they stay pretty good. So like that. And I'll show you now, because when we get, as we get further, we're going to actually attach the chicken, or the turkey leg again. So then the next ones are going to go right underneath that. And if you want, you can try pulling them up now, but there's no guarantee they'll stay there because we do kind of move them around. But the next little U shape right underneath that is where you'll pull the other ones through. Because this will be the row that we do now on the top. Those ones will be attached. And we are going to attach it one more time just to kind of continue it to make it look nice. Otherwise it hangs off kind of too floppy. Like so. And this way it's incorporated into the design better than just slip stitching it in. So like that. And like I said, you just need the top ones first, and then that's where the bottom ones will go when we do the next row, but it'll be on the loom, so it'll be a little bit harder to see. So what I'm going to do is turn this guy around, grab those top 2 bands, make sure I can find the center, and it's going to stretch from this back pin back here to the front pin. Like that. Then we'll do bands up the front side. So it'll be, there's a short one here, then there's a long stretch. Long stretch, sorry. And then short one. Then we need the other leg. So I'll turn this way. And then once again, find the side that has all the more bands on it. This one has a few, this one has a lot. So come up, you'll find that first bump, and then right below that will be a place to put your hook behind. So then you take your two bands and pull them through. And then again, just trying to tuck you in, not pull you out. And then again, the next ones are going to go right underneath in that next kind of row area. And you can, again, pull them through, but like I said, there's no guarantee that they'll stay in as we kind of move stuff around, but might be a little easier. Hopefully they'll stay. So like that will be the other side. So again, just the top ones. Find those centers. Like so. And this gets stretched along the back side. Or the side here. Then again we have the bands down the back. It'd be normal space, then a long stretch, and then normal. So that's what we look like now. Turn this back around. So then we're going to have reducing bands on some of the pins, I think all of them actually. Yes. So we want to flip over everything except for the top four all the way around. So like this pin right here, it's got two reducing bands and then the regular four. This one has two reducing bands and the regular four. And this is just going to pop over to the other side. And then here we have the reducing band and the bottom four. Reducing band and the bottom four. And up here in the front there'll be the reducing band and the bottom four. Reducing band and the bottom four. Hopefully that's not getting annoying with me saying that. Here's a reducing band and the bottom four. Hopefully just flip that over to the front. And then one more time. Reducing band and bottom four. Now what we're going to do, because like I said we were going to do some moving around, so it might not have, those bands might not stay. We just want to move this closer. So it doesn't really matter which way we're moving closer. I'm just going to grab, move these two bands down one so that I have all four right next to each other. So I'm going to go in and grab these bands, pull them up, and just pull them down to the pin below. And do the same thing with these ones, grab them and pull them down to the pin below. Now I'll do the same thing on the front side, bring these down, or now up because I just turned my loom, bring them up a pin, I always do that, and bring these ones up. Just because we end up reducing again. I just lost a band. We end up reducing again, and it gets a little messy if you have it so far away still. This will take me a moment. Chicken leg band fell off. It'd be no good. So I'll go ahead and kind of unstick this guy. So I should still have 4 bands on every pin around, and we're on 8 pins, and then the legs just kind of hang off on the end. Alright, so now we're going to do another row around. So like I said, the next one involves those bands that we put through a moment ago. But if you need to, just, you see where we put through the last ones that were underneath this little teardrop horseshoe shape. So then right below the next little bump is where those next bands went through. Mine are still there, hopefully yours are still there too, but it's just in that next little bump space. So all you're going to do is you'll take the one side. I'm actually going to hook one side, so there's not a whole lot of room sometimes. Take it and stretch it out along the side again, just like before. So like that. Make sure you push those down so it doesn't come up. Then we'll do bands up the front side. 2 bands. Like that. And then again we need to stretch that chicken band out. So we have each side. That chicken. Go away. You know, I think the fruit flies are getting smarter, because I swear, it's like I'll see one and it'll be dead. And be like, okay, I'm gonna clean that up. And as I get closer, it like flips around and flies off. I'm like, really? You were belly up with your wings all distorted? And so I think that they're just trying to make me go crazy. So, like that. And then we'll do the 2 bands down the back side. We are almost done, so hang in there. Like that. So then again, we'll flip over the bottom 4 all the way around. I don't even have any fruit down here either. That's what's really annoying. Because I never eat in my craft room. Because I'd probably never leave it if I started eating or doing other things in here besides crafting. It's kind of one of those, you get kind of lazy and be like, oh, I'll just eat down there. And it becomes habit, and pretty soon you never leave and you're a hermit in your craft room. Which, I mean, sometimes sounds appealing, but probably not a good, healthy thing to do. Alright, so he's looking a little distorted now, but that's good. He's looking good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to reduce again. And we're going to reduce these 4 pins right here. And I usually consider it like the taco, is how I remind myself. Because what we're going to do is go in through, you have 4 bands on these pins. You're going to go in through the top ones, grab the bottom ones, pull them up through the middle of the top ones. You can see how I came up through the middle, and then bring them back to the pin before. And then these will come off. And you can kind of loosen them up so they get hidden a little bit more. Then we'll do the same thing on this pin down here. So find your top ones, go in through them, grab the bottom ones, pull them up through the middle, and then put them on the pin up above. And then the bottom ones will come off. So we'll end up with 2 bands, or 2 pins on the back side, and then there'll be 2 pins on the front side. So do the same thing on the front. Go in through your top bands. Sorry if I'm in your way here. In through the top bands, grab the bottom 2 bands, pull them up through the middle, or the top middle, and then bring them towards the center. And you can take these off, and then do the same thing for these last ones. In through the top 2, grab the bottom ones, pull them up, and bring them towards the center. And then these will come off. So now we are just on 4 pins. It's looking a little distorted. So now what we're going to do is a row around, 2 bands. So it's actually going to come from the back pin, then go under the leg, and then to the front pin. So the 2 bands through, and then towards the front. Then 2 across the front side. And then again the same thing from the front to the back, but underneath the leg. And there's a lot of bands on the pins, just kind of work with them. And then you'll need 2 across the back side. Like that. So then we will go ahead and flip over everything but the top 4. It gets a little hard to see because there are so many bands on the pins, which ones are your top 4. But because you should have the reducing taco bands and then 4 bands. So just kind of check reducing taco, or what I call the reducing taco, and then the 4 underneath that, leaving you with 4 bands on your pins. And it'll be the same on all the pins around. Stay on your pin. One more set here. Like so. So now we can close. I'm going to use my latch hook just because I still think it's easier. And we're going to go through, just go around and grab all the 4 bands off the 4 pins. So I'll start in the back and just go through. Make sure you hold the front side if you do it this way so that they don't pop off. Grab those, because your legs are in the way. Grab that one and that one. Once you have all those on, take 2 bands and pull them through. Get both ends on the hook. Make that slip knot. But before you kind of close it, you kind of want to smush the center around so it's a little more even. And then pull tight. And hide your tail. Oops, missed one. This is from the Reducing Taco, so if you have that, you'll just have to kind of, I don't know why I keep calling it the Reducing Taco, but the reducing we did that I associate with doing the taco, that's what that band is from. So if it's loose like that, because I didn't fix it really when I was doing it, you'll just have to tuck it back in. Which isn't too hard. Just have to come up in the right spot. Grab them and pull them in. Somebody asked me why I'm always like, why are you fixing stuff in front of people all the time? Because, like, you know, usually everybody's like, oh, I'll show all the perfect little things that I did, and never show anybody that, like, the mistakes that can happen. Because I think that stinks when they do that, because you're making something and you get done and you're like, this is not like what that person did, and I screwed up, and it's not, I don't like it, and I think that if I show the mistakes or the how to fix things, that's way better than people going through all the work and then going, but that wasn't like how she did it, and when they skip 20 parts of the fixing and the poking and the pulling that happen to make things go where you want them to go. So, like that, I want to give them a little stretch up. Then of course the arms, you want to reposition them, unless you want his hands or arms up. So it's just a matter of taking your hook and going in through the very top, or probably the second bands down, and just pulling them into a different position towards the down. It's kind of like a rolling kind of motion. I got one arm down, and the same thing if I want him to have the bend in his wing. Let's get up through the center one, kind of pull. So I think he turned out super cute. I know that he's probably not like a lot of my food is more realistic looking, or I try to get a lot of the detail so it's like, you know, it looks like little play food, but I couldn't resist making this guy kind of funny because I thought it was cute. I think it's adorable this way. I hope that you do too. I really just want to sit there and like dance with him all the time. I don't know why. I mean, I know why, because it looks like he wants to dance, but I kind of feel bad about calling him a happy turkey because I'm sure he's probably not very happy. But I bet he'll be delicious. So, got all my things turned. I love him. He's so super adorable. And of course you can tell there is a bit of a difference between bands used, how they look, like the opaque bands. It almost has like more of a breast, the turkey breast appearance. How it's all kind of poofier up here and it angles down. That's kind of what I was hoping would happen more with this one, but it's a little bit poofier. I'm assuming just the bands used. But I think they both look adorable. They look adorable. So, did I say that enough times in this video for you? But I want to thank you guys very much for watching. If you make some of these adorable happy turkeys, I definitely want to see them. I think they're too cute to pass up, but that's just my personal opinion. And if you make them, you can share them with me on my Instagram, which is at Crafting Fantastic, or on my Facebook page, which is feelinspiffy or Crafting Fantastic. They both should find me. There is a link under the video for these sites as well. And then, of course, subscribing to my channel so you know when I come out with new things would be fabulous. I would really appreciate that as well. But thank you very much. I definitely appreciate it, and I will have more for you soon. And happy early Thanksgiving.